you, Manisha. Thank you, Parak. It's always a matter of undiluted joy, and you should know that I mean this. A matter of undiluted joy to see a group of young people with courage written on their face, bubbling with new ideas, taking a keen professional interest in screenwriting. Because the one field in the whole sector of cinema. When I say sector, I mean, of course, cinema, web series, as well as television. The one component, the one element that we have always missed is enough quantum of developed writing talent. I'm making a distinction. There is enough talent in this country. God knows we're a country of storytellers. My observation over the last 16 years that I have been teaching, and that's how I sort of began getting in touch with youngsters and then alumni and then others, and then all these contests and all that began. So I have been, of course, lucky enough to meet a whole lot of new writers coming. They come with great ideas. When I say ideas, they come with the central concept which they have is very refreshing. They have interesting characters which have a certain complexity about them, which is promising. They understand the milieu also in which they are wanting to place their story, the world, because they have now begun familiar. They're writing about things which they know about. They're writing about communities. They're writing about milieus which they know of. All these elements are there. And yet, when they go along on their journey to complete the script, I'm afraid that is where a lot of questionable lack of experience begins to come in. And I'm putting it down to one central thing, is that screenwriting is one form of expression, storytelling expression, in which art and craft are equally important. Hence, to see people like Script Knight, Samir Rachta and Parak taking this lead, concentrating on this, pulling in somebody experienced and generous and bright, of course, as you have experienced, somebody like Manisha coming into the picture and saying, this is what we will concentrate on. You come with your ideas, I will try and facilitate the journey whereby you try and gather the tools of expression. Because all said and done, we have to face it. While this may be an art form, we have to do it within a professional framework. We have to see ourselves as belonging to an industrial framework. It is an industrial process because after you give your blueprint in, there are so many people who will be working on that. Investment will go into it. Various technical components come into the whole picture. The business, the commerce, the marketing, the exhibition, all that jazz comes into the picture, depending on what it is that you submitted. So what you have submitted doesn't factor that future in. Is you don't account for that. You don't see your work as a work in progress of this whole industrial process. And that is where we completely tend to go off center. Where all I hear from producers is to the person you had sent or recommended, yeah, he has very good ideas, कहानी अच्छी सोचता है, लेकिन वो script नहीं लिख पाता है. When I say when they mean script, meaning all those things which when you read in there, you are able to see the end product. When you write your Bible, you should be able to see the series coming up. When you write every episode, you should be able to see it. And that is the lack, because when they're writing, it tends to become literary, it tends to become indulgent, I'm afraid. It tends to merely rest on the written page. It's as if it's being written for people to read. It's not being written with the view that this is going to play on the screen. And that jump, that whole bridge, which is where your screenplay comes in, which is where your craft comes in, is where we have not concentrated enough in this culture. Why? We have one of the biggest film industries in the world. I mean, really speaking, in terms of number of films that we produce, and I'm right now referring to cinema, we will come to your film. It's the highest number of films in the world. We are, with Hollywood, I think we are the two most mature industries in the world. We have an existing tradition of storytelling, which is huge, which is rich and deep and full of all kinds of Catholic elements. So then what is it that is going wrong? And this is where I think we need to perhaps understand, and I want to share some thoughts with you and see what you feel.